The world is changing. Inspiration is everywhere. It has never been so easy to connect, share, and bring people together. We're learning from others and finding the best in ourselves. Challenging our beliefs. Sharing our vulnerability. Overcoming our fears. Transforming ourselves so we can transform the world. How far can we go?
This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is... This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is Sammy the Bull Gravano, the former American mobster who served as underboss of the notorious Gambino crime family. You became a made man in New York City in 1976 and quickly rose up the ranks, earning tens of millions of dollars a year, as well as a reputation of one of the most feared enforcers in Mafia history, later serving as the right-hand man to New York kingpin John Gotti. You have openly confessed to 19 murders or hits during your time in Cosa Nostra, and in 1991 became the highest-ranking Mafia member to break the blood oath and become a government witness. Your testimony saw John Gotti sentenced to life imprisonment without parole, and you received a 5-year sentence. In 2001, you were sentenced to a further 20 years for your role in a drug trafficking ring in Arizona and spent the next 16 years behind bars. Since then, your life has taken a completely different direction, with you building an online media empire complete with a podcast, YouTube channel, and successful website. Your videos and interviews have been seen by millions of people around the world as you reinvent yourself as the Don of social media. Sammy, welcome to London Real.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Let me correct one or two things you said. I got a 20-year sentence on that second bit. I did almost 18 years, 17 years, 7 months, not 16, but that's fine. We want to just keep the record straight. And everything else you said is true. I'm involved in 3 Mafia wars. I'm involved with 19 murders. I didn't commit 19 murders, but I'm involved. And so everything else you said is perfect, and I'm ready to go. I have a lot of followers when I'm watching. I got over 520,000 subscribers, and I have 84 million views. And a lot of them are people from England who text me and send me messages all the time. I have a girl out there, young girl, very smart, very good looking, talented girl. Got great conversations with her. She tells me what's going on in the country a lot of times. Her name is Demi Vitali. So I'd like to give her a shout out. She's a great kid. She's, when I talk with many, many people from England. And
all right. Well, let's jump into it. So Sammy, last year in 2021, I was running to be the next mayor of London. And I spent 7 months on a campaign trail trying to get this city back on track after we had been locked down in 2020. And I used to work really hard during the day. We had a battle bus. I used to drive it around the city. The police actually were trying to stop me from campaigning because they said I was breaking rules. So I probably felt like you felt at one point. And at night, I used to go home and I used to watch your podcast, Sammy. And I remember coming in and telling the whole team here, we had a whole campaign crew, and I'm like, you gotta watch Sammy's YouTube channel because it's fascinating what I'm watching here. Now, I had watched your original interview with Patrick Bet-David, which I think has been watched now 17 million times. That was my first real exposure to you. I think I'd seen the Diane Sawyer interview back in the day. But, I think that was your first time maybe on camera with David, with Patrick. And I felt like you were on guard. But on your YouTube channel, I got introduced to this very nuanced character named Sammy the Bull, and especially your podcast. And, hats off to your producer, James Carroll, because that first season had me gripped. And I got to see a lot of things about you that I didn't understand, about why you did things, how you felt about things. And I guess I wanted to start by asking you, do you ever find it stranger than fiction what you're doing? I mean, here you are in Arizona on a YouTube channel talking openly about the details of the hits and the crimes. Back when you got made in 76, if someone had told you 50 years from now you would be doing this live broadcast and things like that, would you ever believe it? And how does it feel sometimes to be doing what you're doing now?
Well, I was never a public. I was very private. When you went in and I took the oath, it's a secret society and a brotherhood. So I kept that very secret, very private. I never talked publicly. So if you would have told me, or I would have told myself, you're going to be talking publicly, if you would have told me that 5, 6 years ago, I would say you're crazy. Not me. I don't. It's not what I do. But I got into it when I came out. We were going to write a book, my wife's book, ex-wife's book. It's the story of a woman's story of what it was like to be married to someone like me. And we couldn't get it sold. And then somebody approached her to do a podcast, and she asked my help. And I said, sure, I'd help. And that's how I started doing this stuff. My son actually put me on Facebook and then YouTube. When I went in, now I'm out of prison 5 years. So 18 and 5, 23 years ago, these phones weren't here. YouTube wasn't here. So I had no idea what this was about, what it was. And I don't have too much knowledge even now. I'm not a tech guy. So, and I started talking about, my crimes and stuff like that. And I wanted to be very truthful, very open, very honest. And I think it clicked with the public. They were listening to a lot of different shows that don't have that authenticity. And I think we clicked with a lot of people. I started getting used to it. I started getting, text messages and stuff. And I started answering, just like I said, with that woman from England. Formed a relationship, a friendship with her. She was very smart. I have people in different countries, Israel, different Ireland, Australia, different places. And it was very interesting to me. And as a Mafia dude, I was a problem solver, as that's what happens when you go up in rank. Everybody who has a problem comes to you. And I found it very easy to deal, answering to some of these people's questions and giving advice. So this is how it all started. And I got comfortable doing that. And it blew up. Patrick McDavid, when I first came out, I didn't have any numbers, so I couldn't really talk to anybody. You're Sammy the Bull. Yeah, who cares? What's your numbers? So everything in Hollywood, it's about numbers. So when I started doing this, I didn't have numbers. So Patrick called me a few times. I didn't want to go. He says it himself. And then I said, I'm going to do an interview with this guy. He seems honorable. He seems, like a good guy. And I did it with him. And right now he's done interviews with tons and tons of people. And we're his number one show. Like you said, that's 17 million views. And right now I got 520,000 subscribers and 84 million views. So we resonated with people in all different ways in life. I'm not only a gangster, I'm a racketeer, I'm both. I understand business and unions and stuff like that. I'm into politics. You're running for mayor. I heard a little bit about it, not much, but it's hard for somebody who's honest and sincere to come out and try and do the right thing. You're fighting an uphill battle against whoever they are, whoever they may be, liberal elites or whatever it is. They have the control and the power. They use that machine against you, so it's a tough road. I don't know if you made it. Are you the mayor or you didn't make it?
I'm not the mayor, which is why I get to speak with people like you still. But yeah, I got a real lesson, Sammy, in politics by running.
Oh, yeah.
I really got
I
to
can
see,
imagine.
yeah, between the parties and the media and everything else behind the scenes, I got a look into it, and it wasn't very nice what I saw, but I'm still glad I did it. I love this city. You know, it's my adopted city, a bit like you adopted maybe Arizona. And I love this place. I love the people. I want to see good things for it. But man, that's a tough racket.
Well, you know, we need people like you who come out, who are not part of that group of people who control it all. And of course, they're going to give you a hard time because they don't want people like you, honest, good people who care about the city and care about the people. That's not what they care about. They care about money, greed, power, control, and you're the enemy to them. So of course they're going to give you a hard time. When I talk like I talk in the United States, they give me a hard time. But we need people like you and coming out in larger numbers. I wish they would come out all over the place because our countries, and I'll say that both countries, at one time they were just about one, and we have a lot of thinking that's mutual. I'm dealing with people. I'm doing a documentary with a company from England right now as we speak, and they're good people. And they need good, honest people coming out and caring about the people. I mean, when you make it, get up there and care about people. You know, if you made it, that's good for you. And it's got to be good for the country, whatever country it is, our country or your country. And I look at it almost, you know, like I would look at Italy because my heritage is in Italy. So I care about different countries in Europe. I got a lot of followers from Australia and Ireland and all over the place. So they're beautiful people, good people, all over the place. And everybody seems to have problems. Some of them the same. This new world order bullshit. I don't know what that is, but what do we go back to kings and queens and they run the country and that's it? Or do we go back to people like you and go forward? He's an independent party. He's not a Republican. He's not a Democrat. He's a person who cares about the country. You know, hopefully we'll get to that point. People who wake up and we'll get to that.
Yeah, I hope so. It means we just got to keep having these conversations. And I want to get to freedom of speech later because I think we both have had issues where we're been shut down on some of these technology platforms, which are now bigger than the government's. But we will get to that. I want to talk about the media you've created, Sammy, because I think I remember hearing a story when you decided to create, it's called Our Thing, which is your podcast. It's got, I think, 5 seasons right now, I think. But I remember, I thought I heard you saying that you got approached, that someone wanted to do it or do it this way or help you do it. And at one point you said, no, I'm going to do our thing, our way. And you had a very distinctive style of doing it with some music, with sometimes some video and graphics. And then you in this studio you're at talking very, very frankly to camera. That was intentional by you to present your story that way, right?
Yes. When they originally told me about podcast, they put this big microphone in front of me, earphones on my head, and I would talk. And I said, I don't like it. And they said, what do you mean? I said, I'd like to take this off, put a different kind of mic, get these ear things off of me, and I'd like some B-roll in it. I'd like some music in it. And they said, they don't do that. They just sit down at a table with a microphone in front of them. So I said, I really don't care what they do. I'm just telling you what I want to do. And they said, okay, we'll try it, Sammy. We tried it. They loved it. Now, when people follow you, it's the best form of flattery. So obviously it went over big. People started using music and B-roll and different things. And I have it now. I'm doing other things I'm working on to go and take it to a whole nother level that is not out yet. It went over good. I'm in contracts with a lot of different things. In a way, the contract's great. We're making a movie, a scripted show, a documentary, a bunch of things. But in a way, it's inhibiting me a little bit because those contracts I can't keep talking about certain, issues because I'm in contract and I can't screw that up. But and now I'm opening more or less. I'm actually thinking about in January, we're gonna reboot our whole system, our whole plan, our whole platform. We're gonna redesign it, make it a little more artistic. I did artwork in prison. I did a lot of art, and sometimes they're a little confused. Here he is a gangster. He's telling us how to do creative shit, but I've done that. I want to upgrade it, make it more creative, make it more entertaining for people who are watching it, especially in this day and age. We were locked down, all these things. So, and I want to keep it very truthful and honest. So I think that's an important factor too. So I think if you go along that line, your success will follow. And I don't follow people. I'm a leader all my life. And I may make mistakes, but so be it. A lot of times I'll do something and they'll say, okay, we'll edit this. And I don't even bother. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
I make mistakes, so leave it alone. I mean, so people know it's not totally edited. Of course you edit some of it, but I just want to be real with it. If you like me, you like me. You don't like me, you hate me, you love me, whatever, I can't control people's thoughts and feelings. I just could be me. And however they think, so that's the way I try to run what I'm doing. I get, and it's working. Look at this interview right now. I'm sitting with a guy like you. I mean, it's, years ago, it's a dream come true. Here I am, a gangster, heavyweight gangster, and I'm talking to someone like you. There's a reason. There's a reason that I'm trying to do the right thing. I guess you see it. I heard your entry into this. And that's my flow, is what's happening. I did some major interviews just recently, and I've got a bunch of people calling me. They want to do, talks and interviews like you. So this to me is a highlight to sit with someone like you from a beautiful country. So I think I'm doing the right thing.
And I'm here because I saw something that was real. That's what I saw, Sammy, when I tuned into your channel. And I could see that everything you did was intentional. And then ultimately I got it straight from you. So I didn't have some Hollywood director involved, some screenwriter, some actor, some blah, blah, blah. I got it straight from you. Right. And, I started YouTube 11 years ago, Sammy. And at the time I just had some webcams. I was in my kitchen, but I knew I wanted to do it my way. And it was going to be real. That's why we called it London Real. And right. So at the end of the day, that's what people get. And that's probably the best thing, because then they can like you or hate you. And I remember saying at the time, Sammy, and I say this now, and I'll say this to you, is that we don't know what YouTube is yet. When you first saw it, you're like, oh, it's TV on the internet, but it's not, because you're making friendships with people all over the world. You're communicating, you're expressing yourself artistically and emotionally. You're having a heightened human experience the last couple of years doing what you're doing. Maybe some of the best years of your life, what you're doing now. Maybe the most emotionally fulfilling years of your life right now. And it's real. You might say, well, it's a computer screen, but it sure feels real, what you're doing. And, Sammy, I was listening to you tell your stories, and maybe it's the story of you becoming a made man, or maybe it's your story with Johnny Keys, or maybe it's another story. And Sammy, I'm not in the Mafia. I spent a little time in New York City. I've been to Spark Steakhouse. I've been to Little Italy, maybe after you were there. But I knew what you were telling me was real. Isn't that fascinating? As a human, something in my DNA told me this guy's telling me the real truth, and I could feel it, and I felt connected to you. Does that sound crazy? Because that's the way I feel when I listen to you.
No, that sounds real. I mean, and that's the way I like to keep it. And that's why I'm doing this interview. It's vice versa. I feel that, and I've heard everything. I don't know you personally, but everything I heard about you is the same thing. You're real. And that's what I look for. I don't look for somebody who's going to talk nonsense or talk bullshit, So, and I think the people feel that, they see it, if we don't like each other right now, they'll feel it, they'll see it. If we're honest and open and, and sincere, they'll feel it, they'll want to see it, they'll like it, they'll enjoy it. And we're connecting with other people. I don't know how many people will watch this, probably a lot. And I think they'll enjoy it. They'll get to understand you and me and this whole relationship. And I hope we're going to get along. We're not going to get married. So if you guys think we're going to fall in love, we're not going to fall in love. We're not going to get married. But, this is great stuff. This is, I agree. This is an extension of things and a way to put yourself out there and see, do the right thing and see what happens. And the people judge. This is better than a vote. People could judge. They could change the channel, not watch it, get bored. And this is a beautiful technology if it's used properly. Sometimes they want to shut you down because you can't say certain things. That's a crime in itself, because this is could be a beautiful thing where people could relate to, see things, understand things. Maybe I'll say things about America that they don't understand, or how I feel in the country. Not some politician telling us telling you what's going on. It's me, a little old gangster, telling you what's going on in the country and what's going on and how I feel and how other people feel. Because when I'm talking, I have tons and tons of people who listen to me. So you're listening to them too. I'm relating their message as well. It's not just me talking. I hear tons of people, and I change my mind every once in a while. I am an overthinker. An overthinker, once he makes up his mind, you can't change his mind. That's me. But I do change my mind occasionally when I hear so many different people. It brings me back to think of my mother and father were legitimate, hardworking people. So I'm hearing them. I'm hearing their cry. I'm hearing their story. And it helps me change my mind on occasion. Very rare, but I do. And so when I talk, I try to relate them and me and my parents, the good side of me and the bad side. I don't duck the bad side. I'm not going to win Father of the Year awards or nothing like that. But I'm going to be known for this as well as the bad stuff.
Yeah. I'm a bit of an overthinker as well, Sammy. So I know what that feels like. Tell me about what the experience has been like doing the podcast, because I see so many versions of Sammy. There's Sammy that can joke. There's Sammy that sometimes it feels like it's a cathartic experience for you. Sometimes it's maybe therapy. I know it's been for me, this show, for me personally, so I could express things and try to hash things out. And sometimes I can tell that it's very hard for you to tell some of these painful stories again and again. And, I've heard you say that kind of when you were at the time, where you commit some of these crimes, you didn't think about it. It was like an automatic machine. But now later, sometimes when you tell these stories, it sometimes feels like you're cutting an open wound or opening a wound again. Maybe you could just talk about the range of emotions you feel when you're talking about your past.
Well, I've always felt the pain of some of those decisions. Of course, I was a hit guy. I was very loyal to Cosa Nostra, and I followed orders. A lot of those cases, I fought to make that guy live, even though he broke certain rules. Our rules are, you break these rules, you die. And they know that. And I tried to save some of them. Some of them I did, some of them I couldn't. And when I couldn't, I'm a hit guy. I will come looking for you and I will kill you. That's my job in Cosa Nostra. Like a soldier in a war. He's not happy about killing the other side, but he lives and fights for his country, and he does what he's told, whether he likes it or not. But they were painful.
To continue watching the rest of the episode for free, visit our website londonreal.tv or click the link in the description below.